Is Ms. Nikan already in the Zoom with us right now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Ms. Nikan, are you ready to lead the last plenary session for today?
Yes, of course. Super ready.
All right, I think without further ado, Ms. Nikan is also ready. I think Ms. Nikan, we hand the Zoom to you.
Okay. Thank you, Emil, and also Arthur. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the third plenary sessions of Summer Camp Ingenious 2022. It is my pleasure to be the moderator for this afternoon sessions. So for the third plenary session, the topic is the emergence of blockchain in supply chain that will be delivered by our speaker, Professor Iwan Vanany. Since Professor Iwan is already with us, I would like to take this opportunity to greet Professor Iwan. Good afternoon, Professor Iwan.
Good afternoon, Bu Nikan.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Professor, for your time into these plenary sessions. Before we start, I would read the curriculum vitae of Professor Iwan. So Professor Iwan Vanany received his bachelor's and master's degree in industrial engineering from ITS. He received his Doctor of Philosophy degree in manufacturing and industrial engineering from University Technology Malaysia. The field of expertise of Professor Iwan Vanany is business process reengineering and supply chain management with a focus of food supply chain and halal supply chain, right? So of course, supply chain management, particularly blockchain, is one of the expertise of Professor Iwan Vanany. I'm sure everyone is looking forward to the presentation from Professor Iwan. Before we start, Professor Iwan, just a small reminder that the presentation time will be around 45 minutes and will continue with the Q&A session for 10 minutes. And for the participants, please feel free to ask your questions at Slido through the link that will be provided by the committee. Professor Iwan, you may start. Zoom is yours.
Thank you for your time, Bu Nikan. Thank you, Bu Nikan, who is the moderator in this summer camp. Thank you also the committee who invited me in the summer camp and meet with all participants or the student from the several university. In the session, I was presenting about the emergence of the blockchain in the supply chains. Okay, in the first slide, the outline in this presentation, the two main topics on the emergence of the blockchain in the supply chain were discussed in the session, will be discussed in the session. For example, concept of the blockchain or the distribution ledger technology, like what are the blockchain technology and enterprise concern, how does the blockchain work, difference between public and private blockchain, and also blockchain software and the some company that implemented the blockchains. After this, in the second topic, we will discuss about the application of the blockchain, especially in the supply chain. We learn with the best practice in the four company, for example, Myers, FedEx, De Beers, Diamond company, and also Walmart retail company. After this, we summarize decisions. In the first main topic is about the concept of the blockchain or the distributed distribution ledger technology. The similar name blockchain between the distribution ledger. Blockchain In this slide, we discuss about what is the blockchain technology, and after this, we discuss about the enterprise or the company concerns that be delivered by the blockchain. Okay, the first, according by John Korn from the IBM Fellow, the blockchain technology is a shared untraceable ledger for recording the history of the transaction. The blockchain application can be increased our trust with the company, with the customer, accountability, and the transparency and sharing of the accurate information in among players in the supply chain. For example, with our supplier, with our distributor, and also with our and as customer. Okay, looking in this others table for the enterprise concern. According to the Eric Peter, they say company concern about that, especially for data. I don't want to everyone or the company, others customer, and etc., including the government, to see my data. Okay, I don't want to everyone on the network also understand about our data. Okay, I don't want to be hacked, and also I don't want inaccurate information put in our system information. Okay. This is the basic of the blockchain's concept. We call how does the blockchain work? In the blockchain technology has two main, the first data and the second hash. Okay. Hash is stored inside a block depend on the transaction. For example, we have data good days. Okay, we insert data based on the unique numbers to identify the block, and like a fingerprint has like a fingerprint. Change data block will be cause that has also the change. Okay. The blockchain number one, yeah, or the first block, the first block, we call the Genesis block. Okay, it has the data, the typing in the data good days. Okay, because this is the Genesis block, it means the first block. The previous has only 000 without the previous has, and then we should give the number of the has 0, 2, 3, 4, and etc. Okay. After the block is changing, as for example, by the supplier, the block can be changed with we call the block 2. Okay, the data change from the good days to the Thursday. It means we have the previous has 0, 2, 3, 4, and etc. And we should give the number of the hash in the block 2. We give a hash A for CA and etc. And then block 3, if the change, the hash is also changed, the data also changed until the end of the data, and we archive the data. this figure show the 3 blocks. Yes, this is the first block, the second block, and the third block. Okay. I give the video, and I believe you understand how does the block work. Okay.
They solve and how can they be changed? Blockchains are incredibly popular nowadays. But what is a blockchain? How do they work? What problems do they solve? And how can they be used? Like the name indicates, a blockchain is a chain of blocks that contains information. This technique was originally described in 1991 by a group of researchers and was originally intended to timestamp digital documents so that it's not possible to backdate them or to tamper with them, almost like a notary. However, it went by mostly unused until it was adapted by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2009 to create the digital cryptocurrency Bitcoin. Now, a blockchain is a distributed ledger that is completely open to anyone. They have an interesting property. Once some data has been recorded inside a blockchain, it becomes very difficult to change it. So how does that work? Well, let's take a closer look at a block. Each block contains some data, the hash of the block, and the hash of the previous block. The data that is stored inside a block depends on the type of blockchain. The Bitcoin blockchain, for example, stores the details about a transaction in here, such as the sender, receiver, and the amount of coins. A block also has a hash. You can compare a hash to a fingerprint. It identifies a block and all of its contents, and it's always unique, just as a fingerprint. Once a block is created, its hash is being calculated. Changing something inside the block will cause the hash to change. So in other words, hashes are very useful when you want to detect changes to blocks. If the fingerprint of a block changes, it no longer is the same block. The third element inside each block is the hash of the previous block. And this effectively creates a chain of blocks, and it's this technique that makes a blockchain so secure. Let's take an example. Here we have a chain of 3 blocks. As you can see, each block has a hash and the hash of the previous block. So block number 3 points to block number 2, and number 2 points to number 1. Now the first block is a bit special. It cannot point to previous blocks because, well, it's the first one. We call this block the Genesis block. Now let's say that you tamper with the second block. This causes the hash of the block to change as well. In turn, that will make block 3 and all following blocks invalid because they no longer store a valid hash of the previous block. So changing a single block will make all following blocks invalid. But using hashes is not enough to prevent tampering. Computers these days are very fast and can calculate hundreds of thousands of hashes per second. You could effectively tamper with a block and recalculate all the hashes of other blocks to make your blockchain valid again. So to mitigate this, blockchains have something that is called proof of work. It's a mechanism that slows down the creation of new blocks. In Bitcoin's case, it takes about 10 minutes to calculate the required proof of work and add a new block to the chain. This mechanism makes it very hard to tamper with the blocks because if you tamper with one block, you'll need to recalculate the proof of work for all the following blocks. So the security of a blockchain comes from its creative use of hashing and the proof of work mechanism. But there is one more way that blockchains secure themselves, and that is by being distributed. Instead of using a central entity to manage the chain, blockchains use a peer-to-peer network and everyone is allowed to join. When someone joins this network, he gets a full copy of the blockchain. The node can use this to verify that everything is still in order. Now, let's see what happens when someone creates a new block. That block is sent to everyone on the network. Each node then verifies the block to make sure that it hasn't been tampered with. And if everything checks out, each node adds this block to their own blockchain. All the nodes in this network create consensus. They agree about what blocks are valid and which aren't. Blocks that are tampered with will be rejected by other nodes in the network. So to successfully tamper with a blockchain, you'll need to tamper with all the blocks on the chain, redo the proof of work for each block, and take control of more than 50% of the peer-to-peer network. Only then will your tampered block become accepted by everyone else. So this is almost impossible to do. Blockchains are also constantly evolving. One of the most recent developments is the creation of smart contracts. These contracts are simple programs that are stored on the blockchain and can be used to automatically exchange coins based on certain conditions. More on smart contracts in a later video. The creation of blockchain technology piqued a lot of people's interest. Soon others realized that this technology could be used for other things, like storing medical records, creating a digital notary, or even collecting taxes. So now you know what a blockchain is, how it works on a basic level, and what problems it solves. Want to learn how you can implement a simple blockchain in JavaScript?
Okay, I believe after you look at this video, you understand about how the blockchain will work. In the next slide, blockchain application has two types of the application. The first we call a public blockchain. For example, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the example, the good example for the public blockchain. And then the second, private blockchain. Okay, generally in the supply chain implementation, many companies using the private blockchain just for our supplier, and just for our distribution, and also just for our end customer. For example, our patient, for example, for the pharmacy industry. Looking differences between the public and the private blockchain in this table. Okay, for example, the first, in the public blockchain, anyone can participate. Bitcoin, anyone can buy the Bitcoin. But in the private blockchain, for example, in the Mars, in the FedEx, we cannot join in the blockchain Mars or the FedEx because I don't supplier, we don't supplier for the Mars, and also we don't customer in the Mars. Okay, participant pre-selected. Okay, in the public blockchain requires a cryptocurrency, but in the private, no cryptocurrency. Okay, high decentralization in the public, but in the private, opposite, low decentralization. In the public, low throughput, but in the private, high throughput. In the public, high energy consumption, because all countries, so many customer join in this blockchain, for example, in the Bitcoin, but in the private blockchain, low energy consumption. Many blockchain software can be used to implement blockchain in the several countries. Ethereum, Hyperledger Fabric, Corium, and IBM blockchain, and etc. and others. The famous blockchain software, I think, the two software, Ethereum, Bitcoin using the Ethereum, okay, and also Hyperledger Fabric. Looking in this next slide, okay, Ethereum. According to Forbes report, many companies were implemented blockchain technology. For example, Amazon, the Siemens, Samsung, and etc. The company using the Ethereum. Several companies use Hyperledger software to implement blockchain technology, such as Walmart, Visa, Siemens, and also Amazon, in Assurance, Allianz, and etc. Okay. Okay. In this next slide, we discussed about the second topic of the blockchain technology. We say application of the blockchain in the supply chain. In the first discussion, we discussed about the blockchain application in supply chain. Okay. Deloitte consultant has identified the 4 key supply chain points. We call key supply chain pain point. Yeah. Key supply chain pain point, 4 key. The first, traceability. They believe the 4 key supply chain pain point that company to compete the global market if they have. For example, the firstly, traceability. Traceability is the capability to monitor event and metadata associated with the product. Okay. Using the implementation of the blockchain technology, we can provide auditability capability. And if we have the auditability capability, blockchain provide a full audit trial of the data, creating on the everlasting means of the record keeping along a supply chain. Okay. The secondly, the compliance. This is the second supply chain pain point. Okay. The compliance is a standard and control to provide evidence the regulatory condition amid. The implementation of blockchain technology provide immutability capability. All blockchain transaction timestamp and the tamper-proof providing a single source of the data integrity, and etc. until finally for the stakeholder management. Okay, stakeholder management is the effective governance in the place to enable communication, risk reduction, and trust among the parties. Okay, using the blockchain technology, we can get this intermediation capability. Okay, it's mean we can provide blockchain enable peer-to-peer interaction which can be trusted based on the digital signatures. Okay. The lead consultant has also identified the differences between after using the blockchain technology. Okay. Today or until now, if we thought implement blockchain, coordination among stakeholder or the actor or the player in the supply chain is a linear. Okay. But after we implement the blockchain, the coordination has been changed from the linear to cycle coordination. For example, the production player in the today or the until now without the blockchain implementation, production player cannot coordinate directly with their pharmacy hospital, for example, in the pharmaceutical supply chain, directly. The only direct coordination between their distributor, and also their supplier, the raw material supplier. But after the blockchain application is implemented, production can coordinate with the patient, with the pharmacy hospital, and also with the supplier. This is the supplier, because the coordination is a change from the linear to the cycle. Okay. In this session, we just discussed for the best practice of the blockchain application in supply chain. Firstly, Mars, shipping company, FedEx, logistic providers, the beers, diamond company, and then finally Walmart, the biggest retail company in the world. Okay. The problem in the Mars as a bigger shipping company in the world, the biggest obstacle facing many importers was lack of visibility on their cargo. This is a common problem for importers, as they often have a little to no visibility on shipment until the vessel arrives at their port. Okay. With the MERS using blockchain technology to enhance their supply chain visibility, and they get the beneficial after implemented blockchain. The first, enhance supply chain visibility. The second, significantly reduce delay and fraud, and also generate real-time status and synchronize effortlessly and easily to status update. Okay. Please saw this video to understand the best practice of the business application in the Mars as the bigger or the biggest shipping company in the world.
still common and information trade functions much as it has since the introduction of the shipping container in 1956. Manual, paper-based processes are still common and information about the status of goods is locked away in organizational silos. Today, 90% of goods in global trade are carried by the shipping industry, with the supply chain slowed by the complexity and sheer volume of point-to-point communication across a loosely coupled web of land transportation providers, freight forwarders, customs brokers, governments, ports, and ocean carriers. IBM and Maersk are addressing this problem with a distributed, permission platform accessible by the supply chain ecosystem designed to exchange event data and handle document workflows. Maersk and IBM are employing blockchain technology to create a global, tamper-proof system for digitizing trade workflow and tracking shipments end-to-end, eliminating frictions including costly point-to-point communications. The collaboration will launch with the potential ability to track millions of container journeys per year and integrate with customs authorities on selected trade lanes. In a recent test by Maersk, shipping a single container of flowers from Kenya to the port of Rotterdam resulted in a stack of nearly 200 communications. Using this example, we will examine how blockchain has been implemented to create trust and security in the digitized document workflow and improve the efficiency of global supply chains. Here we can see each distinct entity involved in the transaction: the growers, export authorities, ports, customs, and importers. Shipping from the port of Mombasa requires signatures from 3 different agencies approving the export and 6 documents that describe the origin, chemical treatments, quality of the produce, and customs duties. Firstly, using a PC or mobile device, the Kenyan farm submits a packing list that becomes visible to all participants. This action initiates a smart contract that enforces an export approval workflow between the 3 agencies. As each agency signs, the status is updated for all to see. Simultaneously, information about the inspection of the flowers, the sealing of the refrigerated container, the pickup by the trucker, and the approval from customs is communicated to the port of Mombasa, allowing them to prepare for the container. All actions relating to the documents and the physical goods are captured and shared: which documents were submitted, when and by whom, where the flowers are and who is in possession of them, and the next steps in their journey. Flowers are perishable, so it's crucial that there are no delays or missteps. Blockchain provides secure data exchange and a tamper-proof repository for these documents and shipping events. This system could significantly reduce delays and fraud, saving billions of dollars annually. And according to the WTO, reducing barriers within the international supply chain could increase worldwide GDP by almost 5% and total trade volume by 15%. For more information on how IBM can help make blockchain right for your business, please visit
Okay, next slide. In the blockchain application in the FedEx as a logistic provider company, the problem in the FedEx company, I think based on the reporting in the papers, the million of the goods cross the globe every single day, from the small parcel segment to massive container of the ocean cargo. There are many points in the product's journey where the fraud or the thief could occur. FedEx used blockchain implementation in order to improve their traceability and also provide a trustworthy record and also help to address customer disputes. Bruce cleavers. Sorry. Okay. I will give you the video about the application, blockchain application in the FedEx logistics.
Because of the very nature of the technology, it's immutable, it's trusted, and so all of the participants in a supply chain can actually contribute to the custodial chain of a product, not just to the point of pickup and the point of delivery that we've traditionally managed, but all the way back to the point of manufacture and all the way out to the point of consumption. Examples in the food chain that really matter is, your Thanksgiving turkey. If you're determined that you want a free-range turkey that's hormone-free, how do you know? So I think what's happening inside these custody chains is farmers are certifying their product on a blockchain, and then distributors are pulling them in. Grocery stores are actually then showing that provenance of that turkey that you're going to put on the Thanksgiving table. So blockchains have this, unbelievable ability to bring all of the parties together in a trusted chain, and I think we'll be a big part of that chain.
Blockchain is the internet of value. It enables us to manage, do transactions with, to know the provenance of any digital asset. And trust is not achieved by a big intermediary like a bank or a government or a credit card company. It's achieved by cryptography and some clever code, which is why we call it the trust protocol.
FedEx has such a critical responsibility to protect the information asset. We have to protect the information that our customers trust us with. We have to protect the operational capabilities of the business as a whole.
A big reason why many companies are moving to blockchain is that with a blockchain, the data and the ledger is distributed across millions of computers. So it wouldn't just be about hacking one computer, you'd have to hack millions of computers simultaneously. At the Blockchain Research Institute, we're looking at the strategic implications of this technology. We've got 80 projects underway, and we're thrilled to be working with FedEx as one of our members. And I can't wait to see what the future months and years will bring.
Okay, the next application in the beers company. Okay, the beers company is a diamond, the biggest company, the biggest diamond or the jewelry company in the world, I think. Okay, the problem in the beers company. Many retailers and the customer less confidence about the ethical sourcing. They worry about the source of the diamond, slave, or the thief from the thief, and etc. There are many fakes and the conflict between retailer and the customer about the source of the diamond. Okay, the breeders using the blockchain application to track the diamond from the diamond mining to retail until the end of the customer. In addition, blockchain application also get to insert diamonds provenance, traceability, and authenticity, and also help to avoid fix and conflict diamonds. Bruce Cleavers, CEO of the Beers Group, said the Beers discovers diamond with our partner or our mining in the Botswana, Canada, Namibia, and South Africa. And with the long-term investment with the blockchain application, we are proud to join with our stakeholders. Stakeholders is mean the cutting the diamond to provide the industry with the immutable diamond source, insurance, and scale. Okay. Better to participant to looking or the looking the video in this video.
Blood diamonds. De Beer says the world's biggest diamond producer is using Bitcoin technology to fight fakes and so-called blood diamonds. De Beer says it has tracked its first diamonds from mine to retailer using blockchain. The technology gives each stone a unique ID and reveals its transactions, assuring buyers of sourcing and authenticity. The program, known as Tracker, also contains individual diamond characteristics such as weight, color, and clarity. De Beers plans on rolling out the platform later this year, which would provide much-needed reassurance to bankers who have been stung by fraud in a business cloaked in secrecy. The world's biggest diamond producer is using Bitcoin technology to fight fakes and so-called blood diamonds. De Beer says it has tracked its first diamonds from mine to retailer using blockchain. The technology gives each stone a unique ID and reveals its transactions, assuring buyers of sourcing and authenticity. The program, known as Tracker, also contains individual diamond characteristics such as weight, color, and clarity. De Beers plans on rolling out the platform later this year, which would provide much-needed reassurance to bankers who have been stung by fraud in a business cloaked in secrecy. The world's biggest diamond producer is using Bitcoin technology to fight fakes and so-called blood diamonds. De Beer says it has tracked its first...
Okay, and the final blockchain application in the Walmart, the biggest retail company. The problem in the Walmart, I think the less transparency and the trust between the food overseas vendor or the supplier, such as the pork in the China, shrimp sourced in the India and others overseas, including coffee from Indonesia. Okay, in the facts, Walmart is the pioneer in the food traceability. For example, in August 2017, Walmart announced blockchains with the Dole, Kroger, McCormick, Nestle, and then Unilever to increase the food stability. These five, the biggest supplier for the Walmart. And this September, they enhanced produce until 24 products, main product or the final product, finished product from as many 5 different suppliers, including mangoes, leafy greens, strawberry, dairy product, meat, and etc. Okay. After Walmart implemented blockchain, they give beneficial to build a safer house to enhance the food safety, the technology more smarter, and also more transparency between their end customer and of from the farming to the end customer. Please look this video.
Their food system. A wide variety of products and great prices used to be enough, but today, customers want to know more about their food. Where did it come from? Was it sustainably grown? Is it safe? Walmart is partnering with food companies and technology leaders to create a more transparent food system by using blockchain. Blockchain is a way to digitize data that allows us to share information and enhance business transactions in a complex network. This allows the data to be presented in a more secure, trusted, and democratic way. Blockchain enables traceability back to origin, from farm to table. Tracing back to the source will be done in seconds, not weeks. It enables rapid and precise removal of recalled products. This means that unaffected products can remain on store shelves, resulting in less food waste. Blockchain also has the potential to optimize how food gets from farm to table, and that means fresher food for our customers. But the ultimate goal is transparency. By getting rid of the anonymity that exists in the current food system, blockchain will shine a light along every step of the way in the life of our food to help create a safer and better food system.
Okay. And final slide. We discuss about the summaries of all the slides. Okay, the first, the blockchain or the distribution ledger technology is an emerging technology to enhance the supply chain's capability. The second, the implementation of the blockchain technology in the supply chain provides a different benefit. Must get the benefit from the blockchain implementations as different with the FedEx and also difference with the De Beers or the Walmart. I think so better to us to understand what the problem is and how the primary benefit of the blockchain application can be used as a solution that the practitioner or the manager need to pay manager's attention or the practitioner attention. I think the third point is the critical for us to implement blockchain in the different company and different area and different industry in supply chain. Thank you, Bu Nikan. Time for yours.
Thank you very much, Professor Iwan, for the presentation. Actually, sharp 45 minutes. So thank you very much again. I personally think it's a very interesting topic because it's something that I think is also, as the title mentioned, is emerging and I think slowly become one of the common applicated, let's say, technology applied in supply chain. Just one question maybe before we take a look from the question from the participants, looking at the example and also the explanation about the blockchain technology. So do you think, or I assume that trust is actually one important factor, I think, in the implementation of blockchain technology. Is that true, Professor Iwan?
Transparency can be built the trust using the blockchain. We can get the transparency and also enhance our trust.
Correct. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Iwan. Maybe now we can see some questions from the participants. Committee, please present the Slido in the screen so we can read together the question for Professor Iwan. All right, so there are several questions already, and I will read from the most favorite questions from the participants. So the first question, the blockchain application changed the form of coordination in the supply chain. So I think it's from the linear one to the circle one that previously being presented, correct? Will there be a risk of conflict of interest due to this data sharing between different stakeholders, I assume, in the supply chain?
Thank you. This is the good question. I think if the blockchain technology implemented to among supply chains, I think the rate is low. It's the limit. We can reduce the risk because data is the transparent. Not only company and also others stakeholder understand if the block is the chain. It means they know what happened with the data. If we thought linking between the previous hash and also with the hash, it means the problem is be conducted. But we ensure, oh, it's true. The supplier change the data because the supplier inform several unit is rejected after they deliver to the customer to the production, for example, like this. I think after we using the blockchain, I think the risk of the conflict interest is the less. We can reduce because we know all the members know about the changing of the data.
Will make this conflict of interest
Yes.
reduce, because now everyone at least know what is the other doing in the supply chain itself.
It's true, Bunikan, is true.
All right, thank you, Professor Iwan. Maybe we can go to the next questions. What are the main challenges in the implementation of blockchain in supply chain?
Okay, this is a good question, I think. The main challenging in the implementation to understand the problem. And then after we understand about the problem, we should be linking the primary benefits of the blockchain, immutable or the irritable, is related with our problem to solve with the using the blockchain. After related with the problem, we can using the blockchain application. But if the do not related with the primary benefit of the blockchain, I think we cannot using the blockchain. We can look. We cannot. We can use another technology. I think this is the main point. For example, in the beers, because the beers, there's so many conflict, so many fix in this sort of the diamond. They use the blockchain. All the retails on the end customer understand the source of the diamond from the mining until retail, until the end of customer, the end of the customer, the second of the end of customer, until we buy the diamond.
All right. Thank you, Professor Iwan. I think you mentioned a very mandatory point. We should know the problem first before we jump into the blockchain implementation, because we should know if later on the advantage of blockchain is actually can answer the problem that we currently have. Thank you for pointing out that important point, Professor Iwan. Okay, moving on, we can go to the next question. Is there a risk of data leakage in blockchain application in supply chain?
I think less the data leakage in the blockchain application, because all stakeholder in the blockchain member can be looking this data and can be confirms the data if the problem, if the not linking between the previous hash and then hash, we can confirm with the to who is the create, who is the change the data. I think the risk of the lag can be reduced in the blockchain application, or the less or no data leakage in the blockchain application.
Okay, so it's actually might be very minimum risk of data leakage due to this peer-to-peer, I think.
Peer-to-peer.
Correct. The network that actually link to every stakeholders or every players in the supply chain. All right. Okay, thank you, Professor Iwan. I will continue because we still have time. The next one is, do you think that cryptocurrency can replace our current currency? And is there any weakness of blockchain technology?
I think Elon Musk will be answer this question. Yeah, it's just difficult to us to answer this question because we don't understand good understand about the currency. But I think this is depend on the government. I think depend on the government. In the government, for example, the China cannot like using the cryptocurrency. They bans the cryptocurrency in their country. Okay.
Right. And how about the weakness of the blockchain technology, Professor? On the second question.
Yes, it's a good question. I think it's very difficult to implement blockchain technology. When our experience, we build blockchain technology to implement in the slaughtering company until 1 years is the to boil is a very difficult. We change our program. After this, we also change our program, and then so very difficult to get the programming for the Hyperledger software, for example. Is a barrier when we implemented blockchain technology. I hope the younger generation will be teach the Hyperledger software and also Ethereum software.
Yes, hopefully after this session, some of the participants will be interested in learning blockchain and how to apply this blockchain in many different industrial sectors. I think that will be very interesting. Maybe we can go for other 2 questions. So do we need to implement blockchain in the small industry? I think that is,
until
for example,
now,
like startup.
Yeah, it's true. Until now, I think if we want to implement blockchain in the small company, I think the government and then the university will be support. For example, programmer design system of the information system or the blockchain for the small industry, because very or the high cost to implement the blockchain and very many efforts to implement the blockchain, because we should be get the photo every day. If we produce the, for example, if they produce the chicken, the carcass, the chicken carcass, if from the slaughtering, we get the picture and then show the in the information, and then in the hot water, and also get the picture every day. every day should we get the data, because this is the data should be transparent and then need the picture or the each process. This is a very difficult, and so many big data or so many file or so many we call the 1 giga or 2 gig to get memory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And we need the cloud system also.
Mm-hmm. So it's actually quite massive to be implemented. It's very useful, but also quite massive to
Quite high
be
afford.
correct. Correct. All right. So I think this will be the last question from Vince Christian Aligui. Thank you for putting your name here. So is blockchain technology error proof?
Error proof. We can check it, or all the another stakeholder or another member in the blockchain. We can check it if the data is changed and then the error in the data. I think because no administration, all member is the administration. All member can be confirmed. All member can be coordinated with another member to confirm is this true your change, for example, like this Bunikan.
Okay. All right. So the technology itself, I think it's maybe already pretty robust, but again, depend on the people that will use and also apply the technology to make sure that this technology actually
and
perform
in
well.
the blockchain, the data is not immutable. It's a critical point because we believe the data is true.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Iwan, for the answer. Before I close the session, I think I will just read quickly the conclusion of today's session. So, Professor Iwan, thank you very much. You have explained a lot about what blockchain is. So this is also something that I often hear, but not necessarily understand what it's actually about. Thank you for enlightening me with this topic. So we now understand how does it work, the difference between the public and private. And I think one important point in blockchain is the main objective of blockchain is the transparency, right, between the different stakeholders, and particularly in supply chain, it will help to increase the visibility and also the traceability in supply chain, which eventually will also bring the benefits to all the stakeholders in supply chain. So thank you again. Thank you very much, Professor Iwan, for your time today.
Thank you, Bunikan and committee.
Thank you very much. I return the Zoom to Emil and Arthur. Thank you.